Welcome back to A Storied World. I am Katie Upton, author of multiple genres, actually. And today I'd like to talk about how Murder in the Orkneys started as a single kind of image in my head. The kind of exact moment that, like the spark that formed, where I was, what I saw, what I heard, what I felt in order to write this book. So if you've never read the Daisy Day murder mysteries, then by all means check it out, look it up. It's on all major platforms. It's about Daisy Day, and she is a forensic anthropologist, and she goes on in adventures, basically solving murders wherever basically she goes. She's originally from Boston, Massachusetts. However, it doesn't stay there. When I talk about the Orkneys, what I'm talking about more specifically is the Orkney Islands in Scotland. So, because there is another Orkney Island, just to make that clear. So, my roots, some of my ancestry, goes back into Scotland, and more specifically into the region of the Orkney Islands. And at the time, my parents were going on a trip to Kirkwall, Scotland, which is in one of the archipelago of the Orkneys, Orkney Islands. And I had already done some research. Actually, I started researching my genealogy when I was 18. Apparently an early bloomer on that. And I really am fascinated by people's genealogy, and not just my own. So anyway, this has been brewing for quite some time. And when they went there, I thought, oh, wouldn't it be neat if I focused one of these murder mysteries in Kirkwall? Because they had a really good time there and they loved it, and they raved about the cathedral there, St. Magnus Cathedral, I believe, and all the wonderful history, because there's Scandinavian history and, you know, Scottish history there. So for those of you that aren't aware, I am basically my heritage is over half Scandinavian. My father is Scandinavian, so this intrigued me. And this is basically where this spark of imagination kind of took off. I love mythology, I love lore, I love ghosts, supernatural, all that kind of stuff. Angels, love angels. So there's a spark that happened, and I kind of just ran with it from there. I took Daisy, who again is a forensic anthropologist from Boston, and I transported her basically on an assignment, and she lucks out into getting this assignment. But is it so lucky or not? You'll have to read the book to find out. No spoilers here. However, if you have read it, she goes there on assignment. Things go from bad to worse as she gets over there, and a murder happens, and not just one. She's over there with her beloved nephew, who is a teenager at the time, trying to spread his wings. She's very close to her older sister, who's quite a few years older than her, and basically had to take her in when she was young because her parents died, and that is explored in the series too. But I really want to talk about the origin of this and why the Orkney Islands appealed as a setting. And it appealed because obviously my parents went there, obviously have ancestry there. I did not know at the time the extent of my ancestry there, but I loved this kind of almost warring environment, this atmosphere, this historical significance of specifically Kirkwall. And for those that live there, you're obviously experts in this, and yet it lends itself to mystery, a murder mystery, to cozy cozy vibes, and it's old, and it has like the oldest library, I think like from the 1600s. They've got documents even from the 1600s there, and I follow them on social media, and I would love, that's on my bucket list of places to go. Kirkwall, also the library there. And if you check them out, there's like the library in Kirkwall that's spectacular. And if you haven't checked them out, try and find them on social media, because they're really great and they're funny, and I like their sense of humor, and I just love libraries. So this whole thing culminated in me going, oh, well, I have to take her somewhere. Why not the Orkney Islands? Why not, more specifically, Kirkwall? So that what if kind of question that drew that spark then became a full-fledged idea, and then the platforms, and I was able to bring in the Scandinavian roots of mine to combine it with my Scottish roots, and it was just heaven, really. I mean, I love it when I can do that, to bring in something of my own history. And Daisy is a very strong, independent young woman who has her flaws. And again, you'll have to read the books to find out what those are. Having said that, she is very determined. She is very ambitious in her own career and her own life. And when things don't quite go the way she plans, it's distressing. And I think it's distressing to pretty much anyone. So I was able to play around with that. And Daisy, to me, is someone that I admire, actually. She's important to me because she has this drive to do what she loves to do. And you'll see that in my series, in my other series too, regardless of genre, that this is a running theme. I absolutely love females that are strong, independent females, and that overcome obstacles, whether it be relationships or work, that sort of thing. And Daisy Day is one of them. And as far as this particular book, Murder in the Orkneys, the big changes from the first draft that I did to the final product occurred when an unexpected thing happened. So I was writing more specifically about the cathedral, St. Magnus Cathedral in Kirkwall, and has a long storied history. Anyway, I called up my father and said, hey, since I haven't been there myself, which I intend to one day, bucket list, I asked him more specifically. I've seen pictures of it and I wanted a first-hand account. So I asked him all about St. Magnus, and funny enough, I found out that not only, did I get all the great information from my dad about this wonderful cathedral, I also learned more about the history of the island than my own research showed, that I unearthed from my own research. Also, we have an actual familial connection, more than one, to not only Kirkwall, also to the cathedral. And apparently we have a person, at least one, I believe, I know of at least one, if not two, that worked and were priests at this cathedral hundreds of years ago. That blew my mind, because it almost seems otherworldly why I would choose this, and it almost seems like it was preordained. I know that sounds crazy. I believe in ghosts. I believe in guardian angels. I believe in all of that stuff. And so it just felt like I was meant to write about this, because there is this personal connection there. And yeah, they're buried in the cemetery that plays a huge role in this book. So in this series. And it's just crazy to me that I mean, I was like 2/3 of the way done with the book, maybe 3/4. And then I find out that we have a personal connection to this place. And it gave me goosebumps. I had no idea. It just absolutely gave me goosebumps. So anyway, it was an amazing experience to write. And I love the books. I love that book. I love the second book in the series. I've got a third one that, I have an outline for, and I plan on writing. It takes time because right now I'm involved in writing a romantasy. Yep, I love fantasy. I love romance. Might as well put the two together. And I do have romantic subplots to all my series. However, I do have a third one planned for this, and I plan on writing it. I do have an outline. But this whole thing of writing is so interesting to me because you do find out little things along the way that are absolutely surprising. And this one was shocking to me. I do have a personal, deep connection there. And so my question to you is, have any of you ever had something like that happen in your life where, it's almost like a deja vu. It's like you're pulled in a certain direction, and then you find out later that an ancestor, doesn't matter how far back, had, was there or lived there or loved it, or like was, you love music and nobody else around you loves music, but hey, there was this ancestor that did. And, that kind of shocking revelation. I'm curious. If you have, let me know. I mean, you can email me, you can comment below, and let me know. I'd love to hear it. It's always fascinating to me, stories and people's histories and cultures, and I love it. Writing is a way for me to learn more about other people's culture and more of my own. And it's a wonderful thing. And so I ask of you again, have you had anything like that happen to you? And if so, comment below. And and we can maybe do another episode on this from some of these other things that I learned. Or maybe it ends up in another series of mine. You never know. But all in all, that's basically how Murder in the Orkneys came to fruition. And so I get questions about that a lot. There you have it. If you have any other questions about any of my series, or how I write, or how I come up with ideas or plot or anything like that, let me know. I would love to do another episode just on that alone. But for today, if you want to talk to me and not comment below, that's fine. You can reach me at kd@kduptonbooks.com, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And again, I'm knee deep in writing other series, and I'm loving it. Guys, I love this fantasy world that I'm building. It's so fantastic. So anyway, I can't wait to share that with you. For now, if you liked this episode and you got something from it, please share it with other people that you think might like it, and make sure you subscribe and like it. And next time, I'll talk more about imposter syndrome, because it's a big thing as a writer. And I just think it needs to be addressed. The elephant in the room, per se, right? So let me know. And, if there's anything else that you'd like for me to cover, and I'll make an episode of it. So anyway, thank you so much for listening and watching. And I hope you have a good week. And we'll be back again next week. For now, happy reading. And for those that write, happy writing. Thanks for watching.